of a departure from my normal book talk content. But I just wanted to first say that Share 7 is always right. You actually do need to look your best every single time you go out the house. Now, I live in New York City. Sorry, this is and I'm sitting here on the steps of the New York Public Library drinking my coffee because I forgot my jacket and I was about to head home and then realized I need to go back and get my jacket and I can't bring this inside the building. So I'm gonna sit here and yap with you girlies. Now, 2 days ago, I was not feeling my best. I was celebrating a birthday of one of my kids. We're still celebrating it one day. I woke up 2 days ago and I was just so tired because I let my kids stay up till whenever they wanted to go to sleep. I rarely do this aside from holidays. So I had to get up within like 3 hours, got up that morning, and I was gonna roll out the house. And I know you know what that means. I was going to roll out the house and like looking like who done it in life because I was just so tired. But I was like, you know what, no, let me at least look a little bit more presentable. So listen, we all have our days. So I washed my face, okay, did my whole skincare. I like styled my hair. This is a protective style, but I styled this protective style, and I put on a little bit of lip balm. I smoothed out my eyebrows. I like barely have any eyebrows, but I smoothed it out anyway. And I put on an outfit. I really just wanted to walk out the door with like my silk PJs and a jacket, but I was like, no, let me be a little bit more classy and put together. Put on a cute little black dress. It's usually all that I wear, and I went out the door. As I was coming out of my elevator, I saw a horde of policemen at the door trying to get into our secure building. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And then one of my neighbors came down. She said, hey girl. I said, hey girl. And she went on her way, but she was looking like whodunit and why. Okay, and I get it, okay, because she's got kids and everything, but she had on glasses, her clothes were mismatched. Clearly she was heading to the laundromat next door to our home. And she had on a bonnet, she had on a hat, she had on mismatched socks, okay, looking like who done it and why. And she was about to head out the door and she stopped and saw all the policemen trying to get in. And she was like, whoa. And she was nice and she opened the door for them. She said, hello, good morning, because it was early in the morning. Immediately, this big police officer comes in. He's like, he looks at me and he looks at my neighbor, completely dismisses me and says, you're the one that called for 5A, like what's going on, like take me up there, let me know what's going on before we get up there. I've got like backup, my captain's on the way. And I'm like, Captain, I was like, Sergeant, I was like, what is going on? And my neighbor is looking like, excuse me, like she said that, excuse me. And he was like, you call for 10B, you call for 10B. Like, right? Didn't you call? Like, let me know what's going on before we go up there. And she was like, excuse me? Like, and at that moment, I was like, clearly, she don't live on the 10th floor, sir. And bold of you to assume that whatever was happening on the 10th floor, she had something to do with it because she walked out the house looking like who done it and why. And so then he looked over at me and he was like, to his colleague, you know, there's 5 police officers standing in our lobby with like 6 more trying to come through the door. And they're looking at me, they're looking like, oh, she didn't call, obviously. That's how they're looking, you know, like, because I look put together, I look nice. And my poor neighbor, she was so distraught. She was starting to get upset. And she was saying, I don't live on the 10th floor. I am just trying to get out the building to go to the laundromat. And then the police officer was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then, like, and she looked at me and I was like, yeah, like that was a weird thing to say. And she went on and I heard her going out the door and she was like, you will not believe what the F just happened to me. Share 7 was right. Those police officers came on the scene, took one look at me. This is usually how I dress. I usually dress very classy, very chic, very elegant, very put together, okay, very 90s minimalism core. That's just like how I naturally dress. Now, had I walked out the house looking like who done it and why, that police officer would have accosted me and prevented me from leaving my building, even though I had nothing to do with what was happening on the 10th floor or wherever. And I think that's breaking protocol to say why you're responding to a call in the first place and then mentioning the apartment number and the floor that it's on. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you are a black woman, it doesn't matter if you live somewhere like New York City, you still need to go out the house looking your best. When I go out the house and I look like this, I do get treated well. In fact, I had a meeting earlier today and it went very well and it went in my favor because I looked very put together, because I presented myself very well, okay? Had I walked out the house that day looking like who done it and why, with a bonnet on my head, slippers and some Crocs, you know, I don't wear Crocs, I don't know any Crocs, but you get the point. Had I walked out the house looking crazy, that could have easily have been me. And I could tell my neighbor was so upset because I guess she was like, how dare you? First of all, you know what I mean? But we don't live in a fair world. We don't live in a fair society. Oh, I'm telling the fire truck to move. As a woman of color, raising children of color and of different races, but who look and present primarily Black, this is something that I'm trying to get across to my children. Both of my children are starting new schools this year, and I'm going to send them to school like they are mini Chuck Basses and mini Blair Wardrobes that live on the Upper East Side. Like, that is what we're going to communicate, because the unfortunate reality is that we are judged based upon how we look. My kids are starting new schools, and I want them to be presented in the best. Like the parents that get it will get it. Like, if you are trying to get your kid into a certain school environment, private, prep, boarding, which is the trajectory of my children, then that is how they're going to start presenting themselves, okay? And I'm gonna work with my kids' aesthetics, so it's not a complete erasure of their style, but I'm making it very clear to my kids, like, when you go to school, you look your best. The Crocs, you will not wear Crocs to school, okay? You will, for one of my children, for one of my daughters, they're gonna have ribbons and bows in their hair. Why? Because as a Black presenting child, and especially as a former educator and knowing the types of teachers that's going to be teaching my children, they really adultify kids that present Black, especially in New York City. So I'm going to make her look like the pretty princess that she is, okay? Like, she's going to wear frilly socks. She's going to wear bows. She's going to be so hyper feminine that anytime something happens, they're going to be like, oh, no, like, oh, she's delicate. Yeah, she's delicate. She's delicate. Watch what you say. Watch your tone, watch what you say, okay? Because after going through private school myself, and and coming from a very like middle class background with social mobility, of course, I have realized, especially as an adult, even living in a major metropolitan city like New York, it does matter how you dress. It does. And there's certain things that I don't let my kids, especially my male children, my male kids, I don't let them wear certain things. Like hoodies, there's no hoodies. There's no hoodies. You can wear crew neck. You want a sweatshirt? You can get a crew neck, okay? For my daughter, for like one of my daughters, okay, there are certain things that they don't wear, like very short skirts. No, because as a Black girl, as a Black presenting girl growing up in this society, people are going to adultify you and overly sexualize you. And she's already starting to experience some of that. So I'm like, yeah, no. You're dressing like an Upper East Side prep girl, because you know what? That's how we first came to New York City. We lived on the Upper East Side, and we had a very, very nice life in the Upper East Side before we tried out other boroughs. But I'm coming to you as a Black woman that is raising Black presenting kids. It truly does matter how your kids dress, and I think that's something that I want you ladies to think about when you send your kids to school is, what are they presenting as, and how do you want them to be treated in society? And again, the moms that get it and the women that get it will get it, but this is your sign to do not go out the house looking like whodunit.